Hello everyone, and welcome back to another news roundup by the best boys, GetSelious and SithScott, and this time we have an interesting array of news this time, maybe leaning more to the RPG side of things, but let's get on with it. SithScott, start us off.
So the first one we're going to talk about is actually, I think, said something really interesting, is there is an RPG adventure game called the WrestleQuest that was announced. It'll be on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Steam, sometime in 2022.
Yeah, WrestleQuest, it lets you essentially, what if your wrestling dreams was an RPG? So you were leveling up as you learn to pile driver with your main man, Macho Man Randy Savage, as you become the cream of the crop, rising to the top.
Yeah, I really love it because they talked a lot about how the older, wrestling, stories seemed a lot more like Shakespearean, grandiose. And so they wanted to use WrestleQuest as a way to really demonstrate their more grandiose stories in wrestling by comparing it to a RPG.
It's kind of true. Wrestling has always been a showsmanship thing and something that's really cool. I'll leave a little graphic here. So one time, a wrestler known as Tommaso Ciampa is currently under the NXT branch, and he had a match against Adam Cole. Adam Cole, who's currently in AEW, and they did a spot where he got hit in the back of his head with a steel chair, I believe, or an item. I forgot what it was, and the back of his head was bleeding. And the crowd, and it was the contract signing to make the match official at TakeOver, which is their pay-per-view, the big match thing. And the crowd was signing, "Sign it in blood, sign it in blood." He took the blood from the back of his head and just slammed it on the contract, and the crowd just lost their crap. So wrestling is pretty grandiose like that. It is pretty much like insane-o tier.
So they decided that the wrestling games of now don't have those kinds of stories, so they want to make their own with WrestleQuest.
That's a fair assessment. No, that is a fair assessment. I can see that as a legitimate thing, because wrestling nowadays, depending who you talk to, because there's some guys who prefer the way things were in the 90s. You have guys who grew up in different eras, have different tastes of wrestling. I think wrestling isn't as wacky as it was as known as the Attitude Era in the 90s, or as insane-o tier as the Ruthless Aggression Era in the mid-2000s. So I think that if you want to have this bombastic, balls to the wall type thing, this could fit that for you. But it still doesn't take away, in my opinion, wrestling's still fun to watch, regardless of whatever style of wrestling you like. There's too much wrestling content out there, from independent to television shows and subscription services. So do what you like, and I'm looking forward to this game because I wonder if they'll be able to use any of the somewhat licensed wrestlers that are under contract, like the ones who are in WWE, for those who may know, the former WWF, or wrestlers for the Japanese system, New Japan, or etc. So it'll be interesting to see what wrestlers, obviously, unless they make their own kind of wrestler thing, because it'd be cool if you could use the actual Randy Savage on a bootleg Randy Savage,
All about them bootlegs. What are you talking about?
Bootlegs. That's true. Yeah, I do. That's a little bit being hopeful. I do doubt that the WWE will allow them to have that much freedom to do that. So to let the license to flow out that way. But yeah. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited for this game. I see the trailer. It looks super fun. Just ridiculous as a game, But we can always hope for the best.
Yep. And I think that another thing that was actually revealed in a similar vein of the Xbox Indie Showcase was the Floppy Nights game.
Floppy Nights? Are they floppy disk?
No, so basically this is kind of like your basic tactical strategy game, but instead of you having access to units, have cards, and when you play that card, you can either summon a unit or give a buff to a unit you already have, or a debuff to a unit that the enemy has.
Wow.
And so they have it as a tactical card-based game, so which is kind of cool. I actually beta tested it back forever ago.
Crazy.
It was fun. I didn't get a whole lot far into it. I think it's like they gave for like the beta, they gave access to like 3 of like the story arc kind of things, and I made it to like the second one, and I kept being an idiot about it because I wasn't really thinking about what I was doing.
You were just trying to mash it till it works?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's how you know you're not doing well in these strategies, when you're mashing to make it work. But some games work that way. You can always punch your way out of God knows what in certain video games these days.
Yeah. But it was interesting to see it because, like, I totally forgot about it until the showcase, and it was like, wait, I've seen this game before. And it was like, yes, you have.
Oh, Lord. That's crazy.
But yeah, so it's going to actually release on Xbox Game Pass as well as PC and Steam. So that's going to be interesting.
Interesting. I wonder what's
I wasn't expecting that.
No, I wonder what's the big brain play for them to do that, you know?
I mean, I'm guessing it's probably to help them get exposure.
True. Exposure is nice. Get the exposure bucks, you know?
Plus, I'm sure getting some extra Microsoft funding for the Game Pass deal probably helps.
More than, let's be honest, more than helps. Trust me, there is. I'm not really gonna be polite about this. There are tons of reasons. There are tons of monetary reasons why certain people will get funded by Epic Games Store. Go to Epic Games Store to get funded.
Yep.
Yeah. Gotta pay that rent around here. So there's a solid reason for that. But yeah, I think it's interesting though. I hope the game's successful, and then maybe successful enough where in additional timelines where the game gets whatchamacallit, I would say released on other platforms. Because that's it. Yeah, because that's always a thing. Hopefully, I'm gonna wait like 10 years for another game. That'd be great, you know.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Yep.
Okay, so the next one is, we're getting to the more mainstream side, is Guild Wars 2 has announced its 4th expansion.
Yeah, and they have a lot of plans. Guild Wars 2, I feel like it still has people who play it. I don't know if it's newer people, but it's around. It's one of like the proto action RPGs out there, MMOs. So basically, ArenaNet, the owner of the Guild Wars 2, has plans from, I guess, the rest of 2021. Let's see, so they have their milestones. They just admitted that they have more active users, doubled in the last 2 years, so people are playing the game. And this growth helped that their End of Dragons, which is their previous expansion, sold really well to Path of Fire, so that's pretty good. They're thinking about implementing more of the Living World season, which is pretty much like a constant kind of content flow for the game. That's pretty interesting. And their big priorities is to deliver more content to players, and they're trying to introduce a Steam release for those who want to play the game on Steam, which I think is pretty cool. There are a lot of MMOs and games on Steam that have been successful. Lost Ark, another action RPG, you know, made by Amazon and Tripod Studios, is successful and it's on Steam. Saying there is a home for MMOs on Steam. So yeah,
That is true.
and they plan on being I would say they plan on being similar to I would say for those who play other MMOs like Final Fantasy 14, they're gonna have more state of address, like giving more and more updates, letting the people know about their games. This type of format has been insanely popular for a long time now. I think developers are learning, at least the MMO people, just being more consistent updates. Hey, this is the next game coming up, blah blah blah, etc. So
It makes sense, especially when you're having people on this MMO for so long, and then they just get to a place where there's like no content, but that's why you want to keep adding more things for them to do.
Pretty much, like the whole, like, this is one of the reasons why, I'll be honest with you, I think, this is my opinion, Destiny 2 outstayed its welcome. I think the game is like not good, but the thing is that outside of the, recycling the vault, the content, they have huge dry spells after expansion, so it's like I can't invest in that, but it's better. But if they had more State of the Union addresses and like did more things, I guess that'd be cool. But I don't know. I'm just burnt out of Destiny 2. That's why I'm playing a bunch of other games now. But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, and I'm excited to see that they did confirm there's a 4th expansion on the way, so I'm excited to see what they do. When this game hits on Steam, I will probably give it a try for a small bit, and that's about it. But I'm really excited to see what happens for Guild Wars 2, though. I'm happy that they've grown, because I always thought this game was just niche, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing about Guild Wars 2, but I haven't really ever followed it. I was never big. I mean, I used to be big in MMOs, but I didn't really play all of them all the time. Most of my big playing time was always in like RuneScape of all things.
Don't worry, you'll max out your tailoring soon.
One day.
One day. You'll be the best tailor in all the land.
With the tailor cape.
Tailor cape, yeah. It's so crazy. But yeah, it's kind of crazy though. Like some things, they doubled their player base. That's just crazy.
That is actually really crazy, and I'm really happy that they're still having a strong release and a strong game. That's always good for when you have MMOs that are just strong and popular and being able to keep going.
Yeah, it's gotta give the fan base people that are still playing it. You know, that's always good to be playing. Yeah. That's a good way out. So what else we have on the fun docket?
So the last thing is the thing more I wanted to talk about is the .hack Last Recode remaster finally got ported to Switch.
It's already on Steam and PS4. Well, what was the point? I'm just kidding. It's already...
So I could do it portably without having to have a Steam Deck.
The Steam Deck is the future, friend.
Yes, it is, but it's also like costing $100.
Oh, jeez, yeah, those price points are crazy.
Yeah, but so I'm happy I got it on Switch. Plus, they also released a whole new manga and soundtrack with the Switch version. So I was happy to get those and have a physical copy again of the game, because I only have now 2 physical copies because Steam doesn't have physical copies, because who uses physical CDs or DVDs on computers nowadays?
Yeah, that sounds like a you problem. A me problem is that third again okay, so we got .hack, the GU. Are we getting originally time soon? You know?
I hope we get the OG sometime soon.
Gee.
I'm hoping that the more I buy GU, that they'll make them actually see that they still have an audience for .hack. Even if the only audience is me, I don't care.
I'm right here, so I'm right here, but okay, just you. It's always been about you. See, this is why it's called GetSelious and SithScott doing news roundup, not SithScott and GetSelious, because the moment he's up front, I'm telling you guys, he would push me off the cliff. Like, that's right, it's my show. It should have been me, Silius. It should have been me.
We'll do nothing but talk about .hack the entire time now.
.hack and Neptunia, yeah, the 2 greatest games of our generation.
Exactly.
But unironically, I think it's cool that it's being ported over. I hope there's a market for this. I think that Bandai Namco has been successful with some of their games lately. I think Tales of Arise have been successful.
Oh yeah.
I think they're slowly learning or reintroducing, like, hey, you don't need Tekken all day to save your butts and a bunch of licensed anime games. just do us a solid favor, guys. Start publishing your older games to give us, the juicy backs,
Just publish good games of IPs that we have.
Yeah. Or work on a sequel to Scarlet Nexus. I don't know if that did well for them, but I've heard 50-50 things about it.
I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are going to be like some people who are big elitists on the story or something like that, because of things that don't always add up. But I feel like they kept it vague in certain places for reasons of being able to eventually clarify things through either additional content or through the anime.
It's always the anime that has to do all the work, isn't it?
Apparently.
The heavy lifting by the anime. The heavy lifting. But
I think it's pretty solid in Scarlet Nexus, being able to do all the psychokinesis things.
That's true. I think, honestly though, I think that it's fine. Maybe they're preparing for that. But I'm like I said, I'm always want to see Bandai Namco be more successful and less. And I'm not saying, this is my opinion, not Tekken's a bad game, but I feel like the over-reliance on Tekken and the licensed RPG, like anime arena fighter things is a bit. I'm gonna be polite, a bit cringe, you know.
We don't need a new Sword Art Online game every single. That's for sure.
Yeah, if that could stop, that'd be great. Jeez. And like, how many times does Kirito have to save the world? Seriously, how many times?
As many times as the world has to fall into danger, apparently.
And he's the only one who can save it. Only him. Jeez. It's too. Oh man. Nothing. Like I said, Sword Art Online. There's probably the young people who love it. I'm just over it.
I still think Dot Hack is better.
Oh, 100%. At least Dot Hack into a digital world with people with many avatars who don't know who they are, and your character actually gets your butt kicked. But you know, that's the whole thing. There's much more character, right?
Yes. I have a lot more losses on the main character side than just winning everything through sheer protagonism.
And characters with development and things like that, and cool things. And speaking of development,
there's other characters in Kirito. No.
Yeah, other Kirito. Yeah. And speaking of development, I guess that's the end of the development cycle for this news roundup. So we'll round things up. What we talked about? We talked about RPG adventure game WrestleQuest has been announced for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Steam for summer 2022. That is the release date. Floppy Nights will be released in 2022 this year on Xbox Game Pass. So the rest of us is gonna have to suffer through that. I know, hard times. And one also thing we talked about is Guild Wars 2's having another expansion and their future goals, such as, you know, they're going to be on Steam, their milestone successful, they have been growing a number the last 2 years, and we wish for more success for them because more RPGs to play for people is good to know, and the moving to Steam I think will be more beneficial to them because they can track Steam numbers and do all those microtransactions they love so much. And the final news of the day, we talked about how much we love Dot Hack being ported to the Switch. Dot Hack on the Switch will be part of the GU series, which Scott pointed out comes out with a manga.
Yes, it's called the Dot Hack GU Begins. It's the story of Haseo.
You mean Johnny Young Bosch? I'm sorry. But no, the Switch version comes with extra amenities. The game will probably run well. We're hoping, Scott and myself are hoping for success for this game because this is essentially the third port of GU, and I'm hoping that this gives Bandai Namco the PowerPoints presentation numbers to make them go, hey, we can start making other report the classic OG Dot Hack games and maybe experiment with other titles instead of making yearly anime arena fighters and Sword Art Online games. Please. 5 is enough, okay? 5 is enough.
It really is.
Yep. And with that, we'll leave you guys off. Thank you. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give us a subscribe. Hit the bell as well so you'll be notified next time when the video is up. And be sure to follow us, myself, GetSelious, and SithScott in the links below. Our description there that links us to our Twitter, our Switch, and other projects that we're doing. And then we're signing off, and we'll see you guys in the next one.